What's up, yo? This is Views Podcast, Charlie. Today, I'm happy. But anyways, my name is Derek.
My name is Jay.
Yeah, and if you happen to see us, yes, these are our faces. The lovely voices behind the faces.
Finally,
yeah. You know what they say? It's always good to put faces to names.
Exactly.
Or names to faces. Regardless, you still put something together. Anyway, so today's podcast is brought to you by the Praetorium. Yeah, the perfect venue for your perfect occasion. Praetorium, what do they do, Jay?
Everything.
Everything, so.
Everything.
Like weddings, like
outdooring.
Jeffrey's outdooring.
Yeah.
Yeah, all manner of events, town hall meetings.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Clear to it.
Everything. So I mean, if you have an event, call them on 0244926622, and they will take you out on the tour. They will listen to you. They'll make sure they meet your needs. The Praetorium, the perfect venue for your perfect occasion.
Yeah, we also have MatCon, which is the first speed dating event in Ghana.
God damn it.
Yeah, it's coming to you in September. So just go to Eventbrite, look for us. We're there. Charlie. Sign up.
And I think we're doing this in September, so just keep your eyes and ears open, and you hear what we're doing. It's a secret society. Not everybody is invited, if you don't know. I'm telling you. Yes. MatCon,
Laugh, drink, switch.
There you go. All right. So today we have a special guest in the building. If you've been ardent listener
Of it.
Yeah.
No
You've been listening to us. I mean, we have quite a few in our catalog, Charlie.
20.
You know,
20 and counting.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. In a space of like 2 years.
The hustle is real.
I spoke to, or we did an interview, this fine young man off the streets though. Yeah.
Off the market.
He goes by the name. No, let me hold the name a bit. But we spoke about. I think by then, our president Nana Dankwa was about taking office, and he had some opinions about what he will come to know. When he actually takes office. I shared that, so that was entirely his. That is vlog, voice log.
Yeah.
And then he permitted me to do that, and then I did an interview over the phone. His name is Dr. Ebenezer Laryea. That was on the phone, but today, guess what, Charlie? In the flesh, man. Charlie, give it up for Dr. Ebenezer Laryea, man. Charlie, welcome.
Thank you.
Charlie,
thank you.
How long?
Too long.
Way
too long. It's been ages.
The funny thing about you is you've been out for a long time, but you prefer to go by on social media Ghana's son.
Well, not necessarily. That was a while ago, but I changed that now. I just go by my name now as it is.
But why Ghana's son before?
Nah, I think that.
Why did you change it?
Yeah, I think that came from the Ghana son. I think I did around the time when Atamils passed. Yeah, it was kind of like my tribute to him, and it just stuck. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I just go by Ebenezer now, mainly on Twitter.
Yeah. Now you're a brand.
Yeah.
I call you a brand because I read your articles, right? I'll call them articles, and also your voice logs. You have a podcast.
Yeah, I have a podcast.
You have a podcast.
Yeah.
You said, what's the name of the podcast?
It's just me.
Exactly, yeah. You have a podcast, and I listen to them, and
it's just on my website, basically.
Yeah, and you talk about Ghana mostly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you add a bit of ginger to it. That's the UK side of you. And yes, Charlie, I have to talk about the fact that yes, you are from UK. You are from Ghana, but you live in the UK.
Yeah.
Who are you? Let me just let you introduce yourself.
Oh, well, I don't think I can add much to what you just said. I'm a Ghanaian living in the UK. I'm passionate about all things to do with Ghana, but also passionate about obviously other things going on in the world, etc. International affairs, etc. So yeah. Everything else about me is on my website. And I'll take the time to advertise it. drlaryea.com.
Okay. drlaryea.com.
Interesting.
The last time I interviewed you were a law lecturer at University of Northampton.
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. Yeah.
Charlie, we did roll plus the big dogs.
Let me small way there.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He may look skinny, but he's big. Anyways, so you being here, I think we want to touch on what we discussed 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
It's been
true.
2 years.
It's been 2 years.
Believe it or not, but it's been 2 years. And 2 years ago, we were talking about Nana Addo getting into office and realizing that, you know, it's not all Chris as he thought.
As he thought, yeah. So I think that particular voice thing or voice podcast, whatever you want to call it, that I did. I talked. I think it was at the time when they had just finished the elections, and obviously we're in the run up to the inauguration, right? And obviously there was a lot of chatter about what they were going to do, etc., etc. And I said to him that, and I said in there that he would realize, right, once he actually gets in, that things are much worse than he thought that they were, in terms of the finances of the country, especially, etc. And much of that actually came to be the case.
Yeah, we can actually call it a
campaign,
profit.
but that's campaign.
Well,
you know, that's campaign.
That's campaign.
But that's not supposed to be a like, you know. I mean, we are trying to accept it as that's the norm, but that's not it. I mean, if you know it's going to be worse, you don't paint it as if it is okay, and then only for you to assume office and tell me that, you know, it's not okay. So okay. What the promise that I actually gave you, you know, it's going to take a bit of time.
Yeah. The thing is, everyone is also trying to paint a very good picture of what Ghana is supposed to be or what Ghana is going to look like when they come into power. Yeah. So you cannot blame him for, you know, trying to paint the best picture compared to his other opponents.
Yeah, I think there's a thin line differentiating what people promise in campaigns and what they actually come to meet. So what he was doing is he was obviously promising things, as every politician does, but then at the same time he was also making certain statements of fact, which he thought were fact at the time about what the state of the economy is. Right? And the argument I made at the time was that he will realize when he comes in that what he thought was the state of the economy is actually far worse, right, than what he was saying, and that's the nature of all incoming governments, right? No matter how bad you think it is, be prepared that it's actually much worse.
I think it's intentional.
It's intentional.
I think it's intentional. I think, you know, if you've been in politics for a very long time, I think you know, and you know, these guys are friends at the end of the day. They are friends at the end of the day. I mean,
true.
Party-wise, politically, they belong to a certain, you know, ideology or whatever. But when it comes down to it, they sit, they share beer, wine, whatever. They know exactly what is going on. But you know, they come out there and then they tell us, oh, it can actually be better. Because they want the power, and we vote for them.
We vote for them. Yeah, but I mean, there are certain things that you don't get to know. As you know, when you're in a political campaign and you win an election, right? Throughout that whole political campaign, there are certain things that you don't get to know because the other side doesn't want you to know. So, for instance, the NDC would never come out around 2015, 2016 to actually make people aware, right, of how bad things were. Right, because obviously it's not something that aligns with their interest. So, you know, fine. I mean, these politicians, they're friends at the end of the day. Like you were saying, they meet, they drink, etc. But there are certain things that you still would not be privy to if you're on the other side. And obviously, some of the economic figures and the finances are some of those things. Security issues as well. Right, you know, you don't get briefed on those things if you're running a political campaign.
I can see what you're saying, but anyways, Charlie, I've already made my mind up.
Yeah.
I know they are friends and they're doing what they need to do to survive. But you see, I always say that the number one job of a politician is to win votes.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so not necessarily telling you the truth. I mean, how he wins the votes is never a cast in stone. There is no manual. It's just a matter of Charlie. Then vote. Then vote. You get it. You know what I'm saying? I think is it last week or 2 weeks ago? There was a report written by, I don't know, but it was on City where they were talking about the fact that Ghanaian politicians are very good with sloganeering.
Oh yeah.
They were very good with sloganeering, and they just go out there and then come out with a catchy phrase, and then people just go along with it, and then so you don't really get anything tangible. Something you can hold this guy accountable to at the end of the day. And then
just ago.
You know what I'm saying? And then that's it. And that's how I feel, and they think. But for now, I think Ghanaians we are evolving. We are smarter.
Yeah.
We are knowledgeable now.
Exactly,
we are intelligent, and
we expect results.
We expect more.
Exactly.
Respect more, and it should change. If our last podcast is anything to go by, we're talking about to Shiaka Kagame.
Oh yeah, Kagame. Yes.
We're talking to Shiaka Kagame, and he spoke about they had this system where they used to grade mayors.
Oh right.
So back in Rwanda,
Back in Rwanda. So you at the beginning of the year, you tell the masses or the public what you're going to do for your constituency. Or metropolis. And then at the end of the year, they
hold you accountable for
they look at what you've done.
So it's just like KPIs.
Oh, sort of.
Right, exactly.
And here we don't have that, because if you're able to come up with a good catchphrase, there you go. Anyways, but Charlie, we have to talk about the state of the economy. I call you a prophet, because when we did this podcast, you said certain things which we are seeing now, and it's weird that you don't live here, but you can see. It's like it's got some bird's eye view, up there just looking at things.
It's always different from that perspective. Like sitting way over there, and looking at Ghana and saying, "Oh, like it could be better."
It could be better.
There's always a different perspective.
You see, people out there think, I have to choose my words carefully, think everything is okay. Let me say that. I mean, if you talk to a lot of people, that is what they will say, because that's what they see. Year of return, our economy just because they tweaked the calculation.
Or they only see figures. It's rising 5%.
I think the
growth rate and everything. So
but what's actually happening on the ground? That's
what's happening on the ground is a bit different. So when you talk to most people out there, they think everything is okay. But talking to you, and you don't live here, 2 years ago, I could tell you are not here, but you are not too detached.
I try not to be.
You're not too detached. And some of the things that you said 2 years ago, we can see now. I mean, the economy, I mean, macro-wise, we say we are doing well. But, micro-wise, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. And something like, for instance, banking. Charlie, what are your thoughts, bro?
I think it's obviously an issue that's caused a lot of controversy. A lot of people don't understand why. Well, number one, they don't understand what's going on in the banking system. They don't understand why the Bank of Ghana is doing some of the things that it's doing to clean up the system. So you have all these small banks, right, that are always sort of tethering on the brink, right? They're not strong enough to stand on their own in terms of their solvency, right? You know, a lot of them are barely liquid, right? And you have members of the public, of course, who have saved their money at those banks. So what the Bank of Ghana is trying to do is to take proactive steps to either merge them to make them solvent, to protect people's funds, or say to them that, look, you know, you have to go out of business, basically, in order to protect the public interest. So, you know, that's the real reason behind that. We have this problem now because in the previous administration, a lot of these banks came into the system not having met a lot of requirements. So recently you can see that when this administration came, the Bank of Ghana raised the capital threshold for banks, right, for instance. That's something that should have been done a while ago, which wasn't done. So that's what's going on
but you see,
at the moment.
Yeah, this whole banking thing, I have a different mindset about it. I think, okay, I mean, yeah, it's not conspiracy, bro. It's not conspiracy, but you see, yeah.
Hello, the guy.
Yeah. Go on, tell us.
I'm allowed to have some views, right? After all this views podcast. Hello, the guy. Go on. But I think, yeah, they did what they did.
Yeah.
But I think with a bit more research into the magnitude of the problem, maybe they could have come up with, you know, something better in terms of remedy. They could have come up with something which, you know, balances out, because as it stands now, and that's something we are going to talk about, unemployment.
True.
As it stands now, you decided to be firm, which is good. I'm not saying it's not good. I mean, you're supposed to sanitize the system. You're supposed to make people have confidence in the system, in the banking system. Because for us Ghanaians, we are not really bankers in terms of, we don't believe in the banking system. When we were young, people used to keep their monies under their
mattresses and things.
They probably still do.
And probably still do.
Some susu box and
things. And for over the period, they've been able to, you know, shift that mindset. And now we are trying to do the whole banking thing, and then this comes out. So I think, my honest opinion, and I stand to be corrected, I feel they could have come up with a much more prudent way to handle this than just, you know, a close up.
Effectively.
you know,
I get what
it doesn't help anybody.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't help the confidence in the system. It doesn't help, you know, unemployment rate. And I know government will say, Charlie, they've created
jobs,
20,000 jobs, but
for what?
Allegedly, but I don't know.
or eventually.
You know, I don't see it, because it's a whole thing, and Charlie, people don't want to say this word, but credit crunch. See, my voice is low. Or
don't scare the masses.
We are there. I mean, because I'm a finance guy. So I know some of these things. So and I don't know why they chose to do that, but Charlie, they've done it. And which brings us to unemployment. I mean, you have all these graduates out there. You know, and every June you keep producing more. Every June you keep
over 100,000.
What I'm talking about.
Over 100,000.
Every year.
Producing more, and apart from the fact that you're producing more graduates, you know, there's, on a lighter note, there's a new team out here on these streets.
We teamed up.
Girls, man. You know, no, it's a joke. It's a joke thing. It's a joke.
Oh God!
Somebody take bike.
Switch it on.
I want you to share the joke.
Okay, so there's I'm a big fan of comedy. You know that. Also, there's this comedian called TK Kirkland, and he says, you know TK. There you go. We all know. So you know, there are guys who kill themselves over girls, and you know, they're heartbroken, and they'll go fight another dude for a girl, or do something, you know, not sensible for a girl. And you're saying, look, it's not that deep. Every June there's a whole new team out here.
For some people.
Yeah. Black men don't cheat. You know, black men don't cheat. We are not part. I'm just saying for the single people. For Jeffrey and them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I said, I just kept it at that. Anyway, so
back to business.
That's what I'm saying. Every June we keep producing all these graduates, and there are all these firms we've closed down, not just the bankers. And now we've moved on to the microfinance, savings and loans, and you know we are going to the insurance companies next. And
we'll see what happens when it got. I mean, it's from my perspective, it's very, very difficult to see what else can be done besides what they're doing, because if they don't take the proactive steps, right, knowing how we Ghanaians are, I won't say knowing how Ghanaians are because I'm a Ghanaian, but knowing how we Ghanaians are, if they don't take proactive steps, right, to do something about this before a major crisis comes, we're going to criticize them that you didn't take any proactive steps.
This is already major.
Right. Well, I mean, think about what could happen if 1 or 2 or 3 of these banks go under. There are 2 options, right? There are 2 things you can do. Number one, you can bail them out with taxpayer money,
which they're already doing.
Yeah, which they're already doing, which they already did, right? But obviously they can't do for everybody. A lot, they can't do for all of these institutions. Yeah. So either you bail them out, or you let them go under with the money, right, that people have saved there. Yeah. So imagine like a situation like what's happening with Men's Gold and the customers, but on a much larger scale.
Men's Gold, mention the name.
Yeah, but so it's very, very difficult to see what else can be done besides what is being done. I think that the steps that they're taking are appropriate, right, and proportionate. I understand the point about unemployment, right?
You see, let me. I'll cut you. I'm just. I'm saying that I think Ghanaians mostly what we do is buga buga sort of solution.
Yeah. It's kind of like knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah. Buga buga. We are Ghanaians.
Yeah.
When something happens, and we had this podcast with another Ebenezer.
Yeah.
The agricultural scientist.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And he believes in research, and I'm only mentioning his name because of the research that you're talking about. Because for you to just, because there's a big issue, and there's a financial industry, and everything is based on the financial industry. If an economy is going to grow, if a community is going to grow, you need to plant a bank for itself as a catalyst for
development. Exactly.
So, these sort of things you don't just now use proper English knee-jerk reactions. Knee-jerk reactions to just sort of solve whatever the problem
is.
I think you need to research, dig deep, know what is going on there, the magnitude of the problem, all its implications, and then you say, okay, is it appropriate for me to do this now? Maybe should I do it later? Or maybe I'm going to do it now, but I have to do this and that. I'm no expert on the subject matter, but all I'm saying is people are being paid to think. And those people should have done that so that we because I feel it could have been avoided.
Okay.
In a way.
Yeah.
I'm no expert again. I'm no expert. I'm saying that. But I feel for the people we pay to think for us on these sort of issues, I feel they could have done a better job.
Yeah. That's why I was saying that this what we're seeing today didn't just happen today. It was years in the making, right? right from the previous administration, right? A lot of these banks should have been required to meet much more stringent, a much more stringent criteria before they came into functionality. That wasn't done. So now you have a problem, right? And I think the key question is, what are you going to do about the problem? If you let them remain as they are, at some point in time, right, there's going to be a crisis.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you wait to hit that crisis when it comes? And if you're going to wait to hit that crisis, when that crisis comes, what do? Are you going to bail them out? Or are you going to say, okay, go under with all the money that members of the public have saved with you?
Yeah.
Or are you going to take steps now, which in my view, both options are not great, but what they're doing now, in my view, is the lesser of two evils. Because what they're doing is, yes, they're either merging them or closing them down, but that step does not endanger the deposits of members of the public, and it also provides confidence. It gives people confidence in the banking system in Ghana, especially foreign investors.
Is it?
You know this?
Is it because now there's panic withdrawal?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This whole thing started with this whole men's bank thing.
The men's gold thing.
No, I don't think it started with that. Okay.
Yeah.
No, let me tell you why.
Okay.
Or this is why I think. So everyone was actually taking money out of
The bank and giving it to the guy.
from the bank and giving it to the guy.
Yeah.
So Bank of Ghana actually freaked out because of this. That's what happened.
You see, I see what he's saying. I don't know whether you remember. I put I put a post. It was a long post, as I normally do on a WhatsApp group. Yeah, right. It was a
I read a 5
It's like what a good.
That's right. It's okay.
But I put a long post right at the beginning of this year, and I said that, and in the post I said men's gold was going to be this government's biggest headache this year.
True.
And the banking system was going to be a big headache for the government this year because of contagion. And I mentioned specifically the thing that you just talked about. You've got all these people in banks who've taken customer deposits, right, invested it in men's gold. Now, if men's gold cannot pay that back, right, okay, that means that those banks are going to be hard hit, and depending on how much money how much customer deposit they've invested there, they're going to go insolvent. And if they go insolvent, they can't pay the people they owe, and those people might go insolvent, etc. So it's clearly contagion, and it's going to be a domino effect, which is even more reason why they're taking the steps that they're taking now. Because if you don't consolidate, right, especially the weaker ones, they're going to end up going bust, and that's going to affect the bigger banks, and then you're going to have, like you're saying, panic withdrawals, a run on the banks, which is even going to be an even bigger crisis. So I think a lot of people can't, the problem we have in the country is that a lot of people can't see beyond what's going on in terms of what might happen if nothing is done, right? The steps that are being taken now are not ideal, right? Nobody wants to close places of work, right? No. But I think it's a necessary
evil
pill to swallow. It's a lesser of two evils, right? And what might happen if they don't take this practice, that's even worse.
I still think it would have been. I still think it could have been
the funny thing is, right? When you go around asking Ghanaians, right? When you ask them, do you want your taxpayer money to be used to bail out the banks? Everybody says no.
Yeah.
So then, like, how are we going to do it?
No, see, I think what Ghanaians are essentially saying is, you can use my money to bail out the bank.
Yeah.
But you need to, hold people accountable.
Because
what we are seeing now, accountability challenge is going under.
That's true, though, because people are going scot-free with all these things happening.
For allegedly. We can't say we can't say for now because they are still in the process. They are talking to people, Yoko, whatever, special prosecutor. They all doing their thing. We all have our doubts, but let's just give the benefit of the doubt that they are doing something. But we are all not confident in the system that if somebody takes money or misappropriates some funds, they are actually going to be held accountable. Maybe prosecuted, jailed, made to pay back or something. Because what we are witnessing is most of these cases, there's a civil there's a civil end to a case and there's a criminal end to a case.
A case, yeah.
They seem to just tool the civil and leave out the criminal.
Leave out the criminal.
So we're going to sue you and you pay back the money.
The money, yeah.
But the criminal aspect where you have to actually pay for your crime, because it is a crime, they leave that out.
Yeah. Or even, financial negligence, that's another area that they can go down and,
yeah, but nobody seems to care about that, because all these people are connected.
Yeah, true.
Everyone is connected.
All these people are connected,
true.
Some shape or form.
Yeah.
And they are just going scot free. And that is why the Ghanaian will tell you, no, don't use my money to bail out the banks.
To bail out the banks, yeah.
If you're going to use my money, I want to see somebody going to jail. Because if I stole body, Apim,
you get some like 30 years
in the market.
Yeah,
I'll get some 30 years.
A Ghanaian judge will give you like some 40 years for stealing a goat.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But if somebody misappropriates hundreds of millions, and for there, it has to go to the court. It's going to take about 4 years, 5 years, and it's not even criminal. It's civil. Are we going to sue the person? Are we going to take back the money? And you can't even take the money because it belongs to the person. The person, it's all over the place.
All over the place.
We all forget.
Yeah.
Then typical Ghanaian.
Just leave it.
And that's the issue. That's the issue. I think they could have done it better. I have my own conspiracy theory.
Your own conspiracy theories.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think. No, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say. It has to do with men's gold and all these guys. But
you see, the men's. I think the men's gold issue is tied to so many issues, right?
Yeah,
so many things going on in the banking system right now.
Yeah.
If it's not handled carefully, I think it's going to lead to a whole number of things within the banking system. Obviously, I've talked about the contagion, but I also think it's going to seriously undermine confidence.
Sure.
I think in the banking system and the banking regulators, and I think that's just one of the reasons why they're trying to take these steps.
And I'm going to say this about banks here. I have plans of doing a whole podcast about a bank, but I just have to say this off my chest, man. I'm pissed off. You see, the banking. I mentioned before that banks are supposed to be, catalysts for development.
Development, yeah.
In Ghana, when we plant a bank here, poverty straight up. Yes. You see, the problem here is, I don't think the banks are doing what banks are supposed to do. Banks are supposed to find ideas, fund their ideas. The ideas become
give loans, etc.
Big, they employ, and then they change the destiny of the community.
Yeah.
But here, the banks are mostly interested in Charlie, come take loan, make her put some 35% on them, and pay me. They are not funding business ideas.
Well, I guess it depends on the kind of bank.
What I'm saying is not blanket.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know they give loans to businesses and stuff like that. I'm talking about, entrepreneurship is key in a country like ours, developing. And if I'm an entrepreneur, I come to you and I need assistance. I give you my business plan, everything. I will expect you to be part of me and go with me. But if you're going to tell me, look, you need to bring me some collateral, Charlie, I can't give you the money, but I need some collateral. I'm giving you this. There's an interest rate I'm charging, and go work and come and pay me. So, in effect, and I'm saying this, because I know I have experience. I told you I'm a finance guy.
Yeah.
And what most businesses are doing now in Ghana is they are working for the banks.
Oh.
But it should be otherwise. The banks are supposed to help these businesses grow. And not actually put them in like what's the word? Like hold them to ransom. Like have a gun to your head.
Yeah,
you have to pay me my money. So
So
the exchange rates are outrageous. You need to go out there, make sure everything is right so that you can pay the banks. Because if you don't pay them, they are coming for you.
Yeah.
And that does not inspire confidence in young entrepreneurs coming up. That does not help the economy in any way. If you ask any entrepreneur, Charlie, you need funding, go to a bank, they'll tell you, bank. No, it's a fact.
Because there is a risk. It's actually a major risk for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Because this is actually like a domino effect. Because when an entrepreneur goes to a bank for money, the question is the government or is the environment actually allowing you to, progress in what you're going to do? So it's...
You see, the system should help
Exactly.
people to just access funds.
There's a risk for you, there's a risk for the bank as well.
Reasonable cost.
At a reasonable cost. But but the thing is, we live in unfortunately, ours is a society that is not so good at minimizing financial risks. Especially for banks, right? So, you have someone who's going to borrow X amount of money. The person doesn't even have a stable address that you can you can track them on if need be.
But you see,
I mean, all these little things.
The thing is, that is why you do your due diligence. We are not asking you not to do any due diligence, but if you've done your due diligence and you know that, I'm for real, I'm legit.
Yeah.
I'm doing business.
Yeah.
And the banks, they have access to funds which cost like 2%, 1% and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I know this. So, and then they come and then they sell the same to you because they are telling you that the what's the word, a basis point or whatever is, and so they are going to give you, so your cost of financing is already over the roof. Now you're going to add your cost of actually operating your business. So, and that is what causes everything to be expensive in Ghana because the capital is not just sitting there. Of course, you're going to go to a bank if you want to do something on a major scale.
Yeah.
And already your interest rate is all over the place.
All over the place, yeah.
And now you have to add your cost because everybody's financing is all over the place, and your cost of operations is also based on other people's businesses, and they are also most likely, with a bank. So everything is already high.
Yeah.
That's the issue. That's what we are facing here. So I met a lot of people. I've interviewed quite a few spec shine. People with great ideas. And when if they're going to do this on a larger scale, that means we are creating jobs.
Yeah.
We are creating millionaires. People who potentially can go beyond the boundaries and bring in some serious foreign exchange, which we need because our CD challenge, which we need. But we don't seem to care about that. We are letting these banks. I'm saying we are letting because there is a regulator. We are letting these banks, take us for a ride. And the government said this treasury bill cry. So I can get it, but it's still not the best.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's capitalism for you, isn't it? Everyone is in to make a profit. So obviously, greedy capitalism is bad, and regulators should be doing more. But
MPP is capitalist.
Well, the MPP are conservative, so they are all for the free market system.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
NDC didn't do much to help.
They're
the socialists.
Yeah. So kind of like more like social democrats.
Yeah, but
at least that's what they say. In Ghana, all these ideologies don't really work because the conservatives tend to do things that MPP being a conservative tend to do things that conservatives originally don't do.
Exactly.
And then the NDC being social democrats tend to do things that social democrats don't do. So
free SHS.
Free SHS here.
It doesn't.
It doesn't align.
It's not in line with
It's not really a typical conservative ideological policy position.
Complete strategy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what the people want, so they will give to them.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. Brexit.
Yeah.
Charlie. That will we catch.
That's what we catch. We catch Brexit. I talk to Eben sometimes, and I listen to his podcast. So he says certain things, and so I want to ask him, what is Brexit? And so it's a build up. I want us to build it so that people understand where I'm trying to take the question to. So what is Brexit?
Well, basically, it's just Britain's exit from the European Union.
What is a European Union?
Oh, the European Union. It's a union of 28 European countries, which share common currency. At least the majority of them, they share a common market, what they call a single market. So there are a few things that they share in common, both on the political side and the economic side. And Britain is part of the union, is part of the customs union, is part of the single market, but it's not part of the common currency and some of the other common things that they have.
Yeah.
But basically, Brexit, happened because Britain took a decision in 2016 in a referendum to leave the European Union. So to leave both the political structures of the European Union, i.e. the EU Parliament, the European Council, all the political structures of the Union, and to also leave the economic structures. So the single market and the customs union.
Have they regretted?
Have they
regretted?
Have they regretted it? Not yet, because they haven't left yet. So they haven't left yet.
I think they're regretting it now.
They're regretting it now, eh?
Yeah, I think the first referendum, I don't think people actually understood what Brexit meant.
Yeah.
To be honest,
they thought they were going to get their jobs back.
They're blaming the foreigners for everything.
It's almost like what Trump is doing with America.
America
like
first.
People in certain states where I'm going to bring coal back.
Yeah.
It's like playing on.
Gonna bring on our jobs back from China.
Like the jobs, like these entrepreneurs will actually bring the jobs back. When they are only looking at maximizing profits and stuff like that. But when we say no deal Brexit or a deal Brexit, what does it mean?
Okay, so mainly the main difference between a Brexit deal, right, and a no Brexit deal at its most basic point is that with a no deal Brexit, the UK leaves the EU without any agreements as to any transition arrangements. Right?
Yeah.
So when something like this happens, ordinarily what should happen is that the exiting country should transition out of the union, because there are a lot of things that you need to sort out. So for instance, free movement of people, right? At the moment, the UK is part of the EU, which means that people living in Spain, Spanish citizens can come to the UK without a visa. They can stay, they can work, etc. And UK citizens can do the same, right? That's part of the arrangement of the European Union, right? Is one of the laws. But if you leave that without any arrangement, how is that going to work, right? So a no-deal Brexit pretty much means the UK coming out of the European Union without any transition arrangements. For citizens, for trade, for instance, because like I said, they have a customs union. So it means that UK businesses can export to France, Belgium, the Netherlands, etc. without any tariffs, without any checks at the border. And it makes business very, very, very easy. It makes it fluent, and businesses make a lot of money because of that. If the UK leaves without an arrangement as to how that is going to work, then all of a sudden, overnight, there will be checks on UK exports at the EU border. There will also be tariffs placed on UK exports as a result. So that's what a no-deal Brexit looks like. A Brexit with a deal means two things. Number one, it means that the UK is able to agree a transition period. So maybe they're able to agree that for the next 1 year, everything remains as it is, right? So that businesses and people can prepare for what the future trading relationship will be, which is a free trade agreement, right? So you have to prepare for change, right? So you leave the political structures, but everything pretty much remains the same for a year or two, and then after that there is a change, and the UK doesn't have to follow any of the EU laws or AU rules anymore, and they can just proceed on the basis of a free trade agreement. Right? So that's what it means mainly. It's a complex thing.
Now the question is, how does that affect?
How does it affect Ghana?
Ghana.
That's
what I would like to know. How does it affect
your visa
Ghana?
Your visa go hard.
Your visa go hard.
I'm on a visa line there. We are for join. How does it affect us?
Yeah, a lot of people think about Brexit. They see it on the news and they're like, Brexit.
They think it's European Union.
It's European Union as far removed. But it affects us in the sense that there's some opportunities, right, that it provides Ghana. especially in the area of trade. So at the moment, the UK's trade with Ghana is encapsulated within what we call the European Partnership Agreement. So that's an agreement between the EU and ECOWAS as a bloc, right? So it's a free trade agreement, right? And that's why their cars are here, and a lot of some of the fruit juice you see around, especially pineapple juice, etc., is from Spain and France and elsewhere, right? So, you know, the UK does its trade with us on that basis. Now, if the UK leaves the EU without a deal, then it means that they will have no free trade agreement with us, because that will not roll over. Right? Okay. So then what it will mean is that in order for them to access our market in Ghana, right, without any tariffs, they have to negotiate a free trade agreement with us.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing for us. If it's a good thing for us if we're, you know, if the people in charge of negotiating are smart enough to seize the opportunity, because Britain coming out of the EU will be very weak, right? Financially, I think it will have no leverage. It will be desperate for trade arrangement, because they have, I think, at the moment, they have about 40-something trade deals that they do with different countries all over the world, but all of that is done through the EU. And out of that 40, only 3 they've been able to roll over. So only 3 of those trade deals will work in a normal way if they leave without a deal. So they have to go around, right, trying to strike all these new trade deals. So what that means for us is that we have to be smart, realizing the weak position that they're in, to demand better trading terms, right, and better, much wider access to their market, especially for agricultural produce. Because what the UK does and what the EU does generally is that they restrict agricultural exports from countries like Ghana in order to protect their agricultural industry there, to protect their farmers, you know, because the cost of production here is lower than it is there. So if we export over there, and if we're allowed to do so en masse, what that means is that we're going to be undercutting their local produce, right? So what they do is they sometimes make the conditions stringent, make it very hard for us to export. So we have to put our foot down, bang on the table, and demand better trading terms if, you know, they want to have a free trade.
You do know about fair trade, right?
Fair trade, yes, I do know about fair trade. But the only thing about fair trade is that it's not really fair. You see it on the thing. It's usually on the thing, but it's, you know, it's very limited, you know, in its scope.
Do you think that's going to improve if UK leaves the EU?
Well, if the UK leaves the EU without a deal, what is certain is that they will be in a very vulnerable position. They will have very, very little leverage, and they will be desperate, right? And that means that they're in a weak bargaining position. And we then have to say to them that, look, if you want to trade with us, right, you're going to have to open up your market a bit more. You're going to have to allow us to export agricultural produce a bit more, right? And we have to demand that, right?
But the question is, can we?
Yeah, well, we
depends
can.
on who is there,
right? Yeah, exactly. You know, you have to realize, you know, if you are negotiating with someone, you have to realize when someone is in a weak bargaining position. They've done that to us for years, for decades, right? They've always had better trade deals on us because we've been in a weak bargaining position, or we've been in weak bargaining positions in the past, right? And so we have to make the demands, and we have to put our foot on the ground and say, well, if you're not going to trade with us, and you want to, you know, if you prefer to trade on WTO terms, right, World Trade Organization terms with us, you know, with the tariffs, etc., that's fine, you know, because at that point, I think they will need us more than we need them, because they're not giving us much as it is anyway. So,
I mean,
you know,
I hope, Charlie. You see that team we took to The Hague to go fight the maritime.
The maritime.
Take that same team to go.
That same thing. Yeah,
to go negotiate.
Yeah, because you see, the thing is, it's so important. An increased access to their market means more jobs right here.
Exactly.
right? It means we're producing more, we're exporting more, and this helps out with the a bit with the unemployment thing that you were talking about. So we just have to be smart about it, and that's how that's why Brexit is important for Ghana in terms of how it goes, because it provides, I think, for us a huge opportunity. It also provides, I think, for us a huge opportunity in the area of visa applications. Right? Recently, the previous Prime Minister Theresa May, I think she took a trip to India last year, trying to get a free trade agreement, etc. And they said, look, you have to give our citizens more visas.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the requirements that that they put to her, that you have to give our citizens more visas. The Chinese have said the same thing to the British, right? Because a lot of people might say, well, how does more visas help? Well, more visas helps us here economically at home, because you have a lot of people going there, working, remittances.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
foreign exchange. We need it.
Exactly. Right. So that's money that is being directly sort of deposited within the country, within our own local economy, right? Which is huge for us.
That's not going to happen with Boris Johnson, though.
Ooh.
Well,
Boris,
he came here, right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he came here when he was
Ghana.
Foreign Secretary. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Right.
No,
he came in when he was Foreign Secretary. I think it was 2 years ago, and then they sent the British government also sent Prince Charles here, and Princess Anne also came here. Right. Ask yourself this question. Yeah. When was the last time you saw a British royal in Ghana? I've not seen a British royal in Ghana in my lifetime. Right?
Till recently.
The last time I think was in the 1970s. Right. It was Prince Charles who came.
Oh,
that
Charles,
was the 1970s. And before then was Queen Elizabeth, Independence time.
Yeah.
But in the space of a year, they sent the Foreign Secretary to come to meet Akufo-Addo. Prince Charles came, and then Princess Anne came. Ask yourself why. Why is Ghana all of a sudden so important? Right? They want to establish those links. Right? They are buttering us up for for a good deal, and we also have to we have to be prepared.
You have to read in between the lines.
We have to read in between the lines. Ghana people are, hey, oh my boy, stuff like that.
Come and walk around Charlotte.
Seriously, and bizarrely, I heard a lot of people saying on radio that Omampenying Akufo-Addo send your old bomb mine and no nama Queen Elizabeth was man in Crawford so Mumbra and things like that. And I'm like, it has nothing to do with that, man. You have to we have to read in between the lines, and we have to realize that these guys are just trying to butter us up, and we have to be smart enough to see what they're trying to do, and to also strategize. I don't know what's going on at the Ministry of Trade, but I really, really hope to God, right? I really, really, really hope and pray to God that they have a certain strategy, a certain negotiation position already laid down in terms of how they're going to approach any future negotiations that
I hope so too,
come about. I'm hoping to God. Typical Ghanaian term.
I hope, because you see, I think in Ghana we just look at things on the surface. We think, oh, it is what it is, whatever is being presented to you.
1 + 1 is 2.
They like to think, everybody deals with you on utmost good faith, so they'll be truthful and everything. But I think we need to be smarter than that and understand that, you see, the world has moved from physical war, guns and whatever, to what they call cold wars. You don't see it. Everything is on paper,
psychological,
and in the sky, floating around.
You don't see it, but there's a serious war going on. There's one going on between China and US now.
Trade war.
It's like it's there. If you want to know, it is there. And like you're saying, I'm glad, Charlie, we actually asked this question and you've thrown more light on it. I know our listeners are discerning. They'll push it, and we're going to push this too. And then maybe if they don't know, they know that Prince Charles coming here is not because he likes Ghana.
I suppose someone somewhere within the government. I mean, how many ministers have we got? 101.
Charlie, plenty.
If he counts them, but I suppose definitely someone somewhere would have picked it up. So I'm sure they're able to.
See,
but whether
the problem with us is the I belong factor. I call it I belong is we want to belong to some sort of class.
Yeah.
And so if Prince Charles comes here and he's taking a picture with you, or maybe has dinner with you, oh, you've arrived.
Yeah.
We are not looking beyond that. That's my problem with the Ghanaian. Yeah. The Ghanaian, I'm also part, so I'm adding myself to all that. But I get in a point, and I really, really do hope that they see beyond the dinners and the lunch. And
the prestige behind the photo ops, etc.
Exactly, and when it gets down to actually sitting, down, and talking, business, they uphold our interest.
Yes.
I really hope so.
Yeah. Well, that is definitely the hope, because clearly Britain has to shift now. So they're engaging more with America. Trying to get a trade deal out of America, and they're engaging more with the Commonwealth countries, right? Theresa May was in Kenya, right? I think it was last year, and then
dancing.
she was doing the robot dance in Kenya.
She tried,
which was quite off. But anyway, and then she was also
dancing.
She was also in South Africa, right? And it's been a long time since a British Prime Minister. I don't think a British Prime Minister has made such a trip on that kind of scale since Tony Blair. That's a long time, And even Tony Blair, it was in his I think it was in early 2000s, just before the Iraq War. I remember I think they took a trip to Sierra Leone. I think it was, and I think for me that's the last time that a sitting British Prime Minister visited an African country, I think. Unless, of course, I'm mistaken, but I think...
Anyways, let me pay some dues and then we'll jump into our last topic.
Yeah.
If you're listening, this is brought to you by the Praetorium. The Praetorium, the perfect venue for your perfect occasion. Praetorium, what did it do?
Praetorium, try to do everything now.
On cue.
Yo, so they do weddings, funerals, outdoorings, town hall meetings.
Jeffrey's outdooring, to be specific. Jeffrey's wedding.
Okay.
Reception too.
Charlie good.
Yeah. They have everything from ACEs. They actually do garden, that's outside events, and inside as well. Standby genset, PA system, security, car park. That's something you don't get.
Everything is on lock, Charlie.
In Ghana, Kopake or Kwino. They've got all that hooked up. So if you have an event coming up, call Praetorium on 0244926622, 0244926622, and they'll schedule the tour and then meet your needs.
Yeah. We've also got MatCon, which is coming up in September.
The Secret Society.
Yeah.
First dating, speed dating event. In GH. Yeah. So just find them on Eventbrite. Just look out for the location, and
if you want to laugh, drink, and switch, that's the place to be. Yeah, and we call it a secret society. The fact that you apply doesn't mean you're invited.
Nope.
It's by privilege.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah, MatCon, laugh, drink, switch. Yeah. Listen to us, and we'll let you know where the next event is happening. Maybe at the Praetorium.
Ooh.
You never know.
You never know.
You know what I'm saying?
You never know.
Yeah. Anyways, Charlie, to the last point, and this they call something left. When I say left, I'm not talking about lefties or Ghana for. I'm talking about liberals. There are two sides to this whole world that we're living in. We are either right or left. Today I had a new one, centrist. That means it doesn't belong to both, which I think, I don't know,
middle ground.
But the world has been dominated by the right for a very long time. And there comes a point in time where the people with a lot of stuff or the dominating party should shut up, so that the
minority
should say something. I think we are there now, and we have the left, that's the liberals, coming up, and everybody is respecting what they are talking about and giving them the platform to share their views, and not just share, we actually respect and uphold their views. But I'm asking you this question, like I told you before, because I listen to you, I read some of your articles, not the lengthy ones.
You read just a paragraph.
And I think you're more inclined to the left. I'm sure you explained that, but I feel, don't you think the left becoming too powerful? Too powerful to the extent that now it's affecting basic human rights like freedom of speech.
Yeah. Well, I think it's it's a complex thing, right? So, well, for me, I'm centrist. I was saying to you before that I'm a centrist person, which means that I'm not hard left and I'm not sort of hard right.
Just on the fence.
Yeah. So I occupy the middle ground.
Yeah.
In terms of socio-economic.
I'll put it.
Yeah.
Actually, just did it.
Yeah. So I'm not hard right, but I think obviously there's a lot of people have issues with political correctness. They talk about freedom of speech, etc., etc. And I think freedom of speech actually is freedom of speech is liberal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but from the way things are going now, everybody is so sensitive. Like the world is so sensitive now.
Yeah.
You say one thing, the next day you don't have a job.
You don't have a job. Yeah. I think,
but that is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say whatever I think, because that's my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. Yeah. But I can say it, and then maybe I can be corrected.
Yeah. True. I think the a lot of people forget that even with freedom of speech, that there are certain boundaries. There's a saying that every freedom is a freedom until you get to its boundary. Right? So we all have rights. We all have our individual rights. Right? Freedom of speech being one. But my right ends where yours begin. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So
I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So I have my right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. My freedom of speech, freedom of expression, or whatever it is. But that freedom of speech, freedom of expression, should not, or I should not use that right to trounce or encroach on your own rights, or to trounce on your own rights. So, for instance, there was this instance where I'm not going to mention any names, right? But you all get the example I'm going to use. There was this instance where a famous or well-known preacher, right, said something about what might happen to a particular person of a faith or religion that is different from his. And there was a huge uproar about it, right? And rightly so, because you can't go around saying negative things about people. Yeah, right?
You can actually, but
right?
go on.
Yeah. well, you can. Okay, let me put it this way. You shouldn't, right?
There you go.
Yeah, you shouldn't go around saying negative things about people. But my, when I said a lot of people were saying freedom of speech, etc., which I understood, right? That, the guy was free, this individual in question was free to say what he said. Yes. But I think with that right comes a responsibility, right? To be sensitive to the feelings and the rights and the objections of other people, because otherwise we can all say, we have our own rights. We're just going to say anything we want. If you like, right, go to Accra Mall, or someplace like that, and then go and say a particular, or just go there and say I'm come to bomb this place right now. You know,
I mean, I'll ban you. So.
Quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
And say it in a believing way. That's your right. But you can't say that in a public place, right? Because we know that it has certain connotations.
Yeah, but you see, you have the right to say that.
Yeah.
And you have to be prepared for whatever consequences that come with what you said.
Yeah, true. But
are you getting the point?
Yeah. You have the right to say that. But I think the question is, should you say that?
I get what you're saying, but now we are living in a world where it's not. You shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
It's you can't say that. You know, and
okay.
Typically, me, I'm politically incorrect because, and that's how I put it. I can't be mad and be politically correct at the same time.
Yeah.
If I'm mad, and you have a condition, I'm going to talk about that because I want you to be mad as well. Are you getting the point? No, this is basic human. What? No, I'm going to make you mad as well. You pissed me off. I'm supposed to piss you off as well. So I'll look at something about you and say it, and say it in the most mean way.
Yeah.
For you to get pissed off.
I think it's important within this conversation to draw a dividing line, right, between, let's say, general conversations. Right. So let's say like you're saying. We are talking, you piss me off, and then I say like
that was on the lighter note.
Yeah, that
was on the lighter note.
And then there are there are more serious conversations, more serious things that you can say, which are extremely offensive, especially to a group or a class of people, right?
Yeah. So but you see, my problem with this whole political correctness or the far left movement is, if we are not allowed to say how we feel. What we think, how foul we can be. How do we know what people are actually thinking?
Yeah.
If everybody is trying to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, you see,
and be presentable.
Yeah. I think it's a very slippery slope, because I live in a society, right? Obviously, when you live in Ghana, you are among your kind. If I should put it in that way.
Yeah.
Right. I live in a society that's diverse, much more diverse than Ghana is. In terms of ethnic backgrounds, right? Okay. I would be very, very, very much unhappy if in the society that I'm in, right, people were just allowed to say whatever they wanted to say about me, including making racist remarks, etc.
Then you know who the racist guy is.
Yeah. No, it's it's true. But whether they say it or not, they exist, right?
Yeah, I know.
Someone doesn't need to say something to you in order for you to know that they're racist. Sometimes even in their actions, you can see racism in their actions, and discrimination, not just racism, but discrimination, right? So for me, I think it's a slippery slope, because once you start saying to people that, look, feel free, say whatever it is on your mind, people will start doing that, right? And there's certain extremely offensive things that people can say, which I think does not enhance social cohesion, within our society. Even in Ghana, right? You get someone who's of one tribe saying something very, 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 very derogatory against a class or a tribe, of people.
Pastor Kobe.
You shouldn't say that. So I think it's normal, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It's extremely offensive. So I think that, yes, we have freedom of speech, we have our rights, but with our rights come responsibilities. It's in our constitution, right? Every citizen has his or her rights, but then the constitution also says that you have your responsibilities as a citizen. And I think that one of those responsibilities, and it's clear even in our laws, because we have anti-discrimination laws, right? We have laws against hate speech, for instance, and all over the world there are laws against hate speech, right? So we have these responsibilities both in our culture and both enshrined in law, which require us to
know the extent.
Yeah, to know, just to know that there is a limit.
Exactly.
Right? You can express yourself, but you have a responsibility not to offend anyone. And I think that's that's key. And the ironic thing, like I was saying before, is that a lot of people say, oh, the world is too liberal, freedom of expression, I have my rights, etc., etc. A lot of people forget that the rights that we enjoy today all over the world, right, today people are bashing liberality, for sort of undermining all these rights. All of these rights are liberal, because the it takes me back to a speech that FDR gave, right? The speech in which he laid out the kind of post-war world that he wanted to see. That was the statement that was used to even found the UN in 1948. And he lists all the rights: freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of this and that and that. Those were the founding blocks of the liberal international order, right? The kind of world that we enjoy today. And all of those are liberal. They are all liberal rights. They're not hard, they're not rights from the conservative sphere or a sphere of influence, right? They're liberal. So I find it interesting when people say that, all these liberals and political correctness, I can't say what I want to say, and all these things. A lot of people just have forgotten that fact, that all the rights that they're claiming are liberal rights.
Yeah, but you see, what I'm trying to say is, and what you're saying is right. What you're saying is right. That's if you can keep it to the level where you don't become an extremist. Yeah, I get it. It's a screw. But you see, foolish people they talk.
Everybody they talk.
You know what I'm saying? And once you start pushing an agenda, and all I'm saying is we have to be mindful of what we are pushing.
Yeah.
I'm a centrist.
Yeah, you're a centrist. Center left or center right?
Everywhere. I'm a centrist because I'm not far right. Yeah. I'm not far left.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere,
Yeah. And when you ask a lot of people will tell you that. Yes.
Exactly, but foolish people they talk. Like I said, you have to give everybody the credit deserved for being stupid. So they are going to take advantage of certain things, right? And these things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. And so all I'm saying is, people should be made to understand that whatever choice, because life is all about choices anyway.
Choices, yeah.
When you choose something, there are going to be consequences. Mm-hmm. So if you say something, you have to be prepared for the consequences.
Consequences, yeah.
So when it comes, it's like it's a norm. You said something, and this is what is going, and you're already ready for that consequence, and it just happens. But to the point where people can't even express how they feel, I'll give you this example.
Yeah.
Do you know Genuine?
No.
Genuine is a musician.
She would.
I mean, every lady knows Pony. Every lady knows Pony. So Pony is, like, Pony was like one of the #1 hits, for white people.
Yeah.
And for everybody actually. And so Genuine was in the UK having an interview, and then there was a transgender lady.
Yeah.
And they asked him, would you go out with a transgender? And he said, he didn't really give a definitive
answer, yeah.
And it was like, come on, give an answer. Would you kiss a transgender? And the lady was actually trying to kiss Genuine. And he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, because Genuine is straight, let me use the word straight.
Yeah.
Now, the conversation about that incident was, Genuine hates transgender
people.
But on the flip side, he was rather being assaulted. He was being assaulted, but because we live in a world now that's why I'm saying the real question was, is the left becoming too powerful?
Too powerful. Yeah.
Because we are living in a world where the liberals have now sort of taken control. You can't really say anything, even if they're encroaching in your space. Say anything to tell, look, back off.
Yeah.
When you say that,
it's
offensive.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they are rather assaulting you.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Give the mic. That's the mic. That's fine.
It's interesting that you're saying that, because I think that if it was the other way around, they wouldn't have seen it like that.
Yeah.
Because they would have, these days with what's it called, Me Too in the workplace, with women and obviously men respecting women in the workplace, and also the other way around. But sometimes it's a bit biased, because with Genuine, what the woman did, for example, you're in a space. You can't just force somebody to kiss you. you know.
Because
But if exactly,
and
you know,
that's
so,
that's like an example I can just think of now.
Yeah.
You know, to give you. But anyways, listeners, that is Sarah. Sarah is an observer.
slash contributor.
Slash contributor. We call it Beshadefo. Yeah, so Sarah, thanks for your contribution.
That is on Peace FM commentary.
Yeah. So that's on top of the head. That's one of the examples I can just come up.
Yeah,
you know.
I think there's an element of truth to that. Obviously, there are people that will take things too far. You know, so and you know, and abuse. You know,
but
I mean, political.
The messed up thing is the world saw that as, oh, you know, the transgender was just trying to be nice. You know, that's how the world saw it.
Yeah.
You know, the we've conditioned people's minds to think we are the evil ones, and they are now trying to, you know, bring everything at par.
Yeah.
And so even if, you know, somebody is trying to say, yo, look, you're in my space. I don't like this. I mean, now you can't even say, you know, I don't like certain group of people. I'll say that. I don't like certain group of people, because once you say that, you are something phobia.
Yeah.
And that can affect you big time. But that's you.
That's your opinion.
It doesn't mean you hate them.
No.
You don't like somebody and you hate somebody. It's two different things.
Yeah, you see, that's why I'm saying that it's an extremely slippery slope, because if that can easily be flipped around.
I know, and that's what we're doing.
So, you know,
and that's what we're doing.
No, but what I'm saying is that can easily be flipped around, in a sense that someone can say, well, okay, let me put it bluntly, right? Someone can say, well, I don't like black people. That's cool. You know, so
every black person on earth.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, you know, so someone can say, right? Someone can say, that I don't like black people, so I'm not going to hire a black person in my business. I don't think there's anyone here amongst us who will say that is not offensive.
That's offensive, but I mean,
do you get what I'm saying? But he can also say that, it's my opinion.
That's his business.
You're defending that.
No. I'm not defending that. I'm being very objective. I'm just saying that it's his business. One, it's his business, and two, you've been pre-informed. So if you still want to fight and work for that business, now you know what comes with you working there.
Okay, so
you don't complain when you actually get the job and you're being discriminated against, or you're being racially abused or something.
Yeah.
You know what you signed up for. And
yeah.
again, I respect that person for being honest, for saying I don't like black people. Even though it's messed up, I get it. But at least I know who the racist guy is.
Yeah.
I guess the point.
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying, because take for instance Uncle Trump, right? You know,
I like the way you put it. Uncle Trump.
You know, he was like, all African countries are asshole countries, right?
Shithole.
You know, you know, I found that very, very, very offensive, right? And I don't think there's anyone here who didn't find it offensive. And the point is, before he made that statement, I knew that Trump has a problem, right, with people of color, right? You know, when you look at his history, is there. Obviously, because of time, I'm not going to get into it. But when you look at his history, is there. He has a problem with people of color, right? But me knowing that still didn't make it any less offensive to me, right? And me personally, even if he says that, well, that's my opinion, etc., I don't want someone saying that to me. Do you get what I'm saying? You know, so that's what I'm saying, that it's a slippery slope. If you start saying that, well,
let me see what I think about Trump,
you know,
saying Africa is a shithole. Say shit. Say it.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay.
But let me
maybe some of our listeners are very sensitive ears. So.
Nah, my listeners are. But that's what I think about Trump. You know, people don't like Trump and everything, but I tend to like Trump. For one reason and one reason.
I found a lot of Ghanaians. Say it to my sister.
Please.
I mean, my wife.
You see, no, I like him for one reason and one reason only. You see, for a very long time, the Ghanaian, the African, has always thought the white man has our interest at heart. we've always had that notion. Nobody here can tell me they never thought that at some point. At some point, that's what I'm using. At some point.
Yeah. For me, it was very, very clear from the beginning.
Okay. Not this generation. Okay. Now, for the first time, we have, in quotes, the greatest nation in the world, the leader of the greatest nation in the world, saying certain things like this and making it obvious, like telling you how he actually thinks, how the typical white man thinks about you, and you don't like that. You prefer to be lied to.
You know what? Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah.
You know that, and that should, all of a sudden let you put on your thinking cap and start doing something to, counter that or do something.
Even though it's not offensive, Africans were actually thinking like, Charlie, maybe it's actually true.
Well, some people were.
Yeah, people actually contemplate.
But the interesting thing is, right? A lot of guys, and I think you are probably the second person or the third person that I've heard saying this, that Trump talks like the typical American. Trump doesn't talk like, the things, his views are not the views of everyday ordinary Americans. His views are the views of a minority in America. You see, I don't know why a lot of Ghanaians think I don't know why that is.
I never said the American.
Yeah.
I said for the first time, a typical white man. That's what I said.
Even that is even broader.
A typical white man, and that's, you see, the ordinary American can't do anything for me. Yeah. The ordinary, the trailer park American can't do anything. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, and that's why I said the leader of, in quotes, the greatest nation in the world, and our budget is 17%, outsourced.
Ghana beyond it, though. Ghana beyond it. Get with the program.
Okay, if you say so. But all I'm saying is, so we tend to look up to them. We want something from them, and like you said in the previous podcast, very soon, we're gonna need a white man to give you a license to be the best drummer from Africa. That sort of thing, like that validation and all of that. But we have the leader of the great, in quotes, the greatest nation in the world, because I feel Ghana is the greatest nation in the world.
Okay.
Saying some of the things that he is saying, I think that is like a wake-up call for you to know, they don't really think, much of you.
Much. Yeah, I mean,
so maybe you need to sit up.
Sit up. Yeah. I get. I obviously I get what you're saying, right? A lot of there are some, right? Let's just put it that way. There are some Ghanaians who do not realize, right, certain things, right, when it comes to obviously international relations and things like that, right?
The percentage of Ghanaians who see that, obviously,
Yeah. I mean, I get that. But the point I take issue with is that I take issue with this notion that somehow Trump speaks for, as you put it, the typical white man, or the typical American, or the typical Caucasian, or whatever label you want to put on that group. Because when you talk to a lot of people who live in the West, they actually hate Trump. They really, really, really hate Trump. And
they may hate Trump. You see, I want us to be very clear on this. They may hate Trump, but some of the ideas Trump is spewing, they may be in line with that. And I'm saying this because he won. You see, no.
You know what?
I don't like that. Hold on. He won.
I get to vote for him.
You know what? Right?
Let me just say something.
Okay.
Let me just say
we'll
something.
go on to the vote part.
No, the vote. America is not a democracy. Just know that. But what I'm trying to say is, Trump, they may not like the personality, but I'm saying some of the things that they are saying. And because now the world is all about political correctness, of course you don't expect a white man to come and tell you that, fuck these niggas. No, they are not going to say that. Of course, they are bringing businesses here. Of course, they are making money here. They are not going to say that to you. Rather, they, like KSM said, oh, you're doing all right. Oh, you're doing all right. You know, they'll pat you on the back because they know what they want. At the end, they keep your eyes on the price, and the eyes on the price is, you know, we come here and then we make some money. You don't want to piss off the people who you're going to make money off.
Yeah, I mean, you see that the thing is, obviously, when you go to a country, right? You know, I have my own views about people, you know, in the UK, right? You know, when you go to the Netherlands, you have a view of them, right? Okay, but you know, Trump is in a different category altogether. You know, and for me, I remain skeptical, right? That he speaks for the everyday white person. But you putting that aside, to come to the, you know, a lot of people also say that, well, he won, you know, they voted for him, etc.
And he's going to win again.
You know, he actually lost the public vote. The only reason why he won is because of the Electoral College, right? And a lot of people, because in America their democracy is not kebi mami kebi, and then you know you know the votes are counted and first past the post, the one with the most votes wins.
No, it doesn't work like that.
It depends on the states that you win. So sometimes you can even win the public vote, as Hillary Clinton did, and still lose the presidency.
Yeah.
And because of the Electoral College, and
but
it's an outdated
to say
system that they have to
the
change.
Electoral College, the states that you need to win are dominated by white people.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
But
So
you see, the thing is, right? Obama won them.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, Bush fucked up so bad. Everybody wanted something. Anything would do at the time.
You know, people
Let's think about
people
it.
also argue. They say Trump actually won because America is not ready for a woman,
A woman
a
president.
female president.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Maybe
I can see that. I can see that.
But you see, the thing is, right? What my wife usually says.
I like the way.
You know,
Shout out to your wife.
yeah. You know, what she usually says is that, you know, one of the other reasons why Trump won was because you had a very, very bad candidate in Hillary, whom a lot of people hated more than they hate Trump. You know, for some people, they could have gone to vote, but they stayed home. You know, they didn't vote for Trump, but you know, they were like, Charlie, Hillary, forget. You know, you get my point.
Yeah.
So I think that was also a factor.
Give her this one.
Yeah.
I think people didn't vote for Hillary, not because
She's a
or
woman.
they didn't want her to win, not because she's a woman, but because of some of the history that has gone on
the
with the
scandals
Clintons.
and
So I think that was a
baggage.
major part of it as well, and especially the stuff that came out with the emails, you know, the leak and stuff like that. So I think that is probably also part of it. But as you said, probably in America, they might not be ready, or they weren't ready at that time for a female president.
Terrible scandals.
Yeah.
Scandals
The
You can't
that's
paint
true.
it. You can't paint it over with the white paint.
Yeah, that's true.
No, seriously.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, but Charlie, it is what it is. I think.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. People assume that a man in power is better. You know, they would rather have. You know, maybe because he's a man, even though they both had their scandals, but because he's a man, he will be able to.
Yeah, there's that paternal
to carry
thinking.
the job out.
Anyway, like they say, he's the celebrity in chief, not the commander in chief.
No, commander.
But I mean, I felt this, you know, Ghana being a Ghanaian, the God factor. Let me talk about some God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God gave us Trump for us to see the truth, but we still choose to believe the lie, man. You know, we still choose to believe the lie, and it's rather unfortunate. I see it, and through this platform, I'll do what I can
To make others see it.
to see it.
Yeah, Trump is Trump. I think you know, for me, I'll just put Trump in a separate category altogether. I wouldn't use what he does as any form of generalization.
I'm not generalizing. I'll still do business with a white guy.
Yeah.
I actually want to do some business with a white guy.
Yeah.
I'll still do business with a white guy.
Yeah.
Any day.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is, at least it doesn't hurt for you to know certain things. I mean, it's going to hurt you. Shithole country. Of course, it hurts. Look, this guy, Samuel L. Jackson, was in town, you know, a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Took some pictures, put it on his Instagram.
Yeah.
And everybody was, you know, all over his case saying, all the good parts of Accra. He didn't see
only
in Shona. That's what he saw. Taking pictures of kids,
hawking,
hawking and stuff. And he said, "This is what captivated me, and that's what I took." So, are we going to say that Samuel L. Jackson is a Trump supporter, or maybe he's white, or something like that? I'm just saying, look, you come from a certain space. This is who we are. When you come here, yes, of course, that Trazako or airport residential area or whatever is just about 1%, 2%,
probably even less.
Of Ghana. This is what Ghana is actually like. And if you would only accept that this is who we are, then maybe you'll be in a better position to change people's lives. Rather than
there's an element of truth in that.
Trying to fake this whole Ghana they be. You go post.
But there were still nicer places you could have.
No, honestly, listen. The thing is, I understand what you're saying.
And you see, Jay, let me say something. Unless you don't want to see the beauty, I'll say in the struggle. Because there's beauty in poverty. There's beauty in everything. There's beauty. What he was taking from where he comes from, he's rich. He's obviously in the bourgeoisie and everything. This was something he wasn't used to, and it was beautiful to him. And that's why I always say that we have to develop in our own context. The fact that we want to be developed doesn't mean we have to be like New York. I get to the point. And that was beautiful to him. And we shouldn't, because a child was hawking, it's bad. No child should work. I get it. I'm not saying that a child should work. But I'm saying that's what he saw, and it was beautiful.
I think it spoke to him clearly.
Exactly.
In a particular way. Maybe I'm not sure what I'm saying is right, but maybe it aligned with an experience of his. Whatever it is. I think obviously the negative comments come from the thinking that he should better represent the country as it is, because obviously yes, there are children begging on the streets, but that's not all Ghana is, right? There are some promising things going on in Ghana. There are some exciting things going on in Ghana.
Experience, bro.
Sorry?
In Shona is an experience.
It's an experience.
The beach side, the fishermen, the fishmongers, is an experience.
He won't see that in his country.
You never see that anywhere.
He won't see that. But I'm trying to explain the psychology behind the negative comments.
But you get my point. And that's why I think people are just lying to themselves, because that is your reality. That's your truth. Let's drive to the beach right now. That's what you will see.
But you see,
and it's beautiful. Try and see the beauty in what you have. And stop aspiring to
but the thing is, for a lot of other people who live in this country, their truth is different. Their truth is in Accra Mall. Their truth is
all those people are plastic.
The mall at Wager. Their truth is in so many other places.
All that is plastic.
So
all that is plastic.
So the psychology behind the negative comments.
Go there, go watch Where They Live For.
The Slay Queens and stuff.
You know what I'm saying? So, you see, it's not worth it. You don't have to belong. You broke. Just accept the fact that you're broke.
Charlie, but not everybody be broke.
When you accept the problem, it's half solved.
It's half solved,
If you don't accept the problem, then Charlie, we have a long way to go. But Charlie,
but you know what? A lot of people complain, right, about the Africa that they don't show you on TV.
Sure.
I know.
And I think it's important to think about that, right? Because when a lot of people see Africa, especially in the West, they watch TV. All they see is hunger, war,
malnourished kids,
with
a fly on the kids.
With a fly, exactly. and there are a lot of, even because of that, there are a lot of Western leaders that don't see African countries as potential partners. They see Africa as an opportunity for charity. Donations, etc. Obama said the same thing when he came here. That it's time for us to present, right, another view of Africa to the world, right? And I'll be specific, Ghana. Yes, it's there's hardship. There's hardship in every country, right? But it's also a place for opportunity, right? It's also a place where promising things are happening, new things are happening, improvements are being made. And I think there is that element as well. Obviously, Samuel Jackson, he took a picture of what spoke to him,
Exactly.
right? What he connected with,
Yeah.
right? But I think the comments come from that place that we should be, projecting another side.
Derek, if you go France right now, will you take a picture of the Eiffel Tower or you take a picture of some girl begging on the street?
That even reminds me of something. You let him answer. After that,
I know see Eiffel Tower.
So
that's what I'll take.
Exactly, because you've heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
but that's what
easy.
But that's what
you know what.
So Samuel L. Jackson did the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has been seeing this thing on the TV
And
or
he saw
whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo, this is what I can relate to."
Yeah, but there was no fly though.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah.
Maybe he was actually trying to paint that picture.
Yeah.
That is not what he sees on the TV.
You see, picture speaks volumes, and what you should understand is we can actually be looking at the fact that a kid was hawking.
Yeah.
Or the kid was actually happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the smile on the kid's face said something totally different.
Yeah, if you call the kid, right away, tell us, okay, you the hockey, yeah. I will give you ride, make it tap inside. I will give you house, make it day inside. You go do the hockey, or you go. But you know what, right? I wanted to mention this, and she will bear me out on this, right? There are places in the UK, we see them all the time, that look very similar to places in Accra, in the sense that there is rubbish all over the street. Yeah, right.
Okay, right.
Yeah, seriously, you go out and in certain parts of the areas where we live, and this is in the West, right? You go out and you can see rubbish lined up in polythene bags, right? People come there all the time, including foreigners. They never take a picture of that. Not even never. Right? They take pictures of the nice things.
London
Eye, London Eye, etc. Even where we live, when they come, they take care of they take pictures of the historic stuff, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's rubbish all around them.
Sure.
Rubbish. You'll be shocked. You go to a park, yeah.
But honestly, like, if I go there and I take a picture of that, somebody will text me and say, "Charlie, you did colleague on that."
Yeah, exactly. Nobody takes it. And I'm not just talking about African tourists, right? I'm talking about even tourists from other parts of the world. Nobody, takes pictures of that. But when people come to Africa, right, the things that they want to capture is the hardship primarily. You see, and all these
this is all I'll say to that. I don't compare myself with somebody who has it worse off. My man Ludacris said, "How do I advance without an opponent?" I want the best. So I'm not going to say there's some trash somewhere, and because there's trash here, I'm okay. You do go and take pictures of the nice parts. I'm saying, if you see this as a leader, if you see this on Samuel Jackson's Instagram, what does it say to you? Are you proud of it? Are you going to attack him for not taking nice places, or is going to speak to you to say, look, I need to do more?
Yeah.
That's the angle I'm looking at this from. If you think you're not okay with the pictures, change it. Then nobody will have such pictures to take. It's as simple as that. You don't go online, or Ghanaians going online. It's like they are doing the government's bidding, going to attack somebody. Meanwhile, you should be attacking the government so that people don't have such pictures to take. That's where I'm looking at this from. But anyways, Charlie, we can go on and on and on and on and on and on. Charlie, Doc, you do everything, Charlie. Yeah. It's been a great conversation. If you're still listening, hey, you force.
You want some more predictions before we go?
Okay, yeah. Why not? Give us some predictions. Since you turn prophets, you add prophetic whatever to your doctor.
Economic prophet is the most uncertain art in the world. Economic prophecy. But anyway, like I said, like I was saying in the post that you didn't read from before.
Yeah. Send it to me again. This time I'll read it.
You gonna read that? You don't read it. But yeah, basically, I think men's gold, like I said, was going to be a big issue because you're seeing what's going on in the banking crisis already. Education, right? I think the free SHS, obviously, it's being rolled out. I said then that there were going to be issues with capacity, right? Because clearly you're opening it up, but you're not increasing the capacity in terms of the infrastructure. And that's going to become even a bigger problem when next year, when students are meant to go to university. Because you're going to have more students passing out, right, than we normally do, right?
But I'll say this to what you're saying, you know, I seriously can't believe Ghanaians sat down and Anado sneaked an open area on them like nothing. An open area, do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Double track system. He just moved it from day to months. That's all. But it's still an open area.
It's still an open area. Yeah. So I mean that I think, you know, they're going to have a huge problem, you know, on their hands. And then obviously going into election year next year is when I think some of the steps that they've taken, especially with borrowing to fund free SHS and all these other projects, I think that's when we're going to start seeing the effect. You know, in terms of hits on the currency, you know, a bit of depreciation on the CD, right? You're going to see more taxes, right? Because, you know, they're going to have to fund some of the and finance some of the borrowing through those means. Because it's going to be an election year. I think that obviously the smartest thing for them to do would be to say, well, let's borrow more, you know, to cushion things up a little bit, get past the election year, and then we'll deal with it. But I think clearly that's going to give them, you know, more headaches, etc. So, yeah, I think it's still going to be sort of an undulating road ahead. I think economically.
Charlie. You do everything. I mean, there's a year of return, but you didn't come for the same purpose.
No.
Obviously. But we thank you for being here with us. Like we always say, trust the process.
Yeah.
We had this conversation 2 years ago, 2017.
Yeah.
And then you were supposed to come, I think, you know, close.
Yeah, it just didn't materialize.
It didn't happen,
yeah,
but
it didn't happen,
you know,
yeah.
here we are,
Here we
2
are.
years later, in person, we are having this conversation. Listeners, if you're an ardent listener, Dr. Ebenezer Laryea in the flesh. You can see him.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're watching the video, you can see him. If not, there's a thumbnail. You can still see Dr. Ebenezer Laryea. We thank you. Thank you for passing by. Thank you for being Ghana's son, even though it was a tribute. Thank you for paying attention to what is happening here, and you know, adding your thoughts, you know, to things that are happening here. And you know, I read, I listen, and I know a lot.
Not my long stuff though.
You like summary.
The reading, yeah. That I go for help with. Yeah, but I mean, you're doing your thing, and we appreciate that. Ghana is proud of you. I'm proud of you. Jay, you know,
Cheers,
proud of him.
Child, be proud.
You know what I'm saying?
Very proud.
And obviously, your wife is proud of you. You know what I'm saying?
She has no choice.
Charlie, thank you. And if you're still listening, Charlie, you do all. This is a long ass podcast, right?
Yeah.
Charlie? Yeah, but you know, when the conversation is great, you can't really tell.
Yeah, man.
And the most important thing is we do this to spark a thought, you know, to spark conversation. You know, we can together build Ghana to where it needs to be for us and for the future generations to come.
Yeah.
If you listen to this, man, let's pay some dues.
All right.
Let's pay dues. This podcast is brought to you
Pay
by
more
the
dues to
Praetorium. Praetorium, the perfect venue for your first occasion. Praetorium, they do.
They do everything.
You know
They do everything. Everything, Charlie. And you know, it's a great place to be. Perfect location on the Springtest Road inside East Airport International School. We now penny.
That's a perfect.
That's a key super admit. Yeah, I mean, everything, weddings, town hall meetings, any event you can think of, call them on 0244926622. And yeah, they'll hook you up.
MatCon.
Yeah.
So MatCon, the first speed dating events in GH. Find us on Eventbrite, Charlie.
Yeah,
pay more dues to
go on Eventbrite, and like we say, secret society, Charlie. For Deji, because the people that they come there, you know what I'm saying. I mean, even if you don't get to match, you know, to get some match with somebody, if you don't connect, you may network. Because the kind of people coming there is crazy, you know. People, they make money for that side as well. Yeah, so you know, go on Eventbrite, listen to Views podcast, and you know what next we're doing, you know, Matcon.
Laugh, drink, switch. There you go.
Alright, so if you're listening to this channel, this is Views podcast, and we just had Dr. Ebenezer Laryea, man. We thank you again.
Thank you.
Yes, and get interactive with us. Put your social media handles out.
Yeah, so it's just that on Twitter at doc_LARYEA, and my website is www.drlaryea.com.
There you go. Get interactive with us on social media at Views Podcast, Twitter at Views Podcast, Facebook at Views Podcast, Instagram, everything at Views Podcast. Just do it. And share your comments if you liked it. If you didn't like it, Charlie, that's your problem. This Views Podcast, we just sharing our views, man.
Freedom of speech.
There you go. Like I always say,
love yours,
love God,
love all.
There you go.
One.
And we out.
Straight up.